Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heart Center Tarot. As always, my name is Marina, and I will be your guide for this portion of the journey. And help me welcome back Helen of Irish Granny Helen. Hey.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you for inviting me. And I was just telling Marina, I'm not crying really. I was just telling Marina that I'm astounded she's willing to talk to me because I'm an American. Oh my God, Marina. I'm so sorry. I apologize collectively for the entire country. This is just
You know what?
unbelievable.
I think that most Canadians, at least any of the ones that I have spoken to recently or I have heard recently, all fully understand that there is a difference between Americans and Mega, and that the Americans are our friends. We have been neighbors for a good long time. We've gotten along for a very long time.
What's not to get along? It's so stupid. I can't. And they're talking about he has a mandate. He didn't. He didn't. He got fewer votes. I mean, no, 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 no. A lot of people didn't vote, which is shocking, considering what was on the line. Really shocking. But I can understand people feeling overwhelmed. I just wanted to go to bed
Yeah,
and like stay there for a
I
few
know.
months.
I know. I'll I can liken a lot of kind of what's going on in terms of Canada and the US. And think back to when there wasn't Croatia, Serbia, Slovenia, Montenegro,
Yugoslavia.
when it was Yugoslavia. And everybody got along. Everybody had dealings with each other. You
Hmm.
didn't ask your friend or someone new who you met, where are you from? What's your ethnic background? It's just they were neighbors, and they got along together for a good long time until people like Milosevic got in on the act and said, hey, you know what? The reason that you can't get ahead in that company is because there is someone from Montenegro who has taken your spot. There's someone from Slovenia who's taken your spot. And so it got the again the ethnic people who are not overly educated thinking just like Mega thinks now. Hey, you know what? That's true. Yeah, that's so it's not the people who stirred up the BS. It was the quote unquote leaders who told them that no, you have grievances. You have been
Yeah,
maligned. Someone has done you wrong, and I am here to show you who that was. So what happened? There was a civil war.
I know. It was horrendous.
It
Horrendous.
was awful.
I've been really sad lately. I've been thinking a lot about the many, many instances in my life and around me where I have encountered one of my little hobbies. Okay. I've encountered so many people from so many different places. One of my
Yeah.
favorite things to do, you watch an American movie and at the end the credits go by and the names are from everywhere. It's so
Yeah.
entertaining my life is pretty quiet, but it's so interesting to see all the different backgrounds and nationalities. Those people are all working together in a big crew. I mean, I'm sure there's egos, but
Yes, but that happens with the people who share the same culture and the same history.
that's right. That's
Not,
right.
yeah, not everybody who, who comes from my particular background do I like. That's just the nature of the beast. We're not gonna like everyone. We're not going to share same opinions with everyone, even though we may share a common background or something. But that's what it gives us those opportunities to have those lively discussions and whatnot. We're not like the village.
When I was in high school, I went to a very small high school. So, granted, it was a little bit unusual. It was not quite mainstream America. But, I can remember I had a friend from France, a friend from Russia, a friend from China. I had a handful of friends that came from a variety of Central American and Latin American countries that I don't even remember, because that's how unimportant it really was.
Yes.
And I just think about how sad now for young people that they're being kind of forced into looking at the world so differently.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Absolutely.
painful.
It is. It is. And it's unfair. It not only is it unfair to us as individuals, but to those people as well, because we're deprived of the cultural knowledge
I
that
know.
we can share with them and they can share with us.
I know.
When I travel, I don't I may go to locations that are, popular tourist destinations, but once I get there, I want to go where the people that are there, where did they
Hmm.
go to shop? Where did they
Hmm.
go to eat? Right?
Yeah.
That's where I want to be because I need that cultural exchange. I want to be able to talk to them and say, okay,
Yep.
what is this that I'm eating? What is this? Explain this to me. That's how I learn.
One of my favorite places, I haven't traveled that much, but one of my favorite places to go for exactly that reason is Vancouver, British Columbia,
Yes.
because talk about multicultural. And we, went there for school conferences and took our children and other children. And we did things like, this is, you'll appreciate this, stupid Americans. We go out to eat and we're sitting in this restaurant going, why is it so quiet? Can you guess why it was so quiet?
Mhm. People were eating and being polite.
No, there was very few people in there, almost nobody in there. Hockey night in Canada.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Shh. The game is on.
So we had no idea. So it was an Indian restaurant, East Indian restaurant. And the people were, from there. And they invited all the children into the kitchen and showed them how the tandoori oven worked and how they cooked that. I was like, God, where else in the world do you get this kind of thing? Because tomorrow we're going to a dim sum restaurant and then the next day we're having crepes. And, it's sad to me that they're being deprived. They're entering every contact with people now looking for the differences instead of embracing and enjoying the differences. Well, we
Exactly.
have to do something about that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just quickly want to say hello to the folks that have
Oh, that's
joined.
right.
Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and make sure that you go over to Helen's channel and do the same thing on her channel as well.
Oh, I would so appreciate it. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. But hello to Connie B, Leah Selva, Helena Harrison. Hello,
Oh,
Aspie
Helene, I like your
Fairclough.
name.
Yep. Sherry Voices from the Swamp. Hello, my dear. Yay. Annette Hamstreet, Sunflower Down Under, Norm Gilbert, Dawn Turner, who is a neighbor of mine. Hello, Denise,
Oh,
and who else? Did I miss anyone? Joan Baker. I don't think I've missed anyone, but if I have, believe me, it's never anything personal. It's just, I'm too vain to put on my glasses. So I pretend that my vision is 2020. and
well,
and
see, I
it,
have glasses for reading. And
yeah.
I have glasses in the other room by the TV for distance. But I
Yeah.
don't have glasses for the in between.
Yes.
And I cannot see the screen. It's terrible. I feel really guilty because I'm supposed to be streaming this. I don't make promises, but it does say I have the option. And we're afraid to, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I should have asked Sherry. Sherry would have been able to explain it in a second.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
there are still things. People are very surprised when I tell them that I do not edit any of my videos,
Oh, me
any of
neither. Are you
no.
kidding me?
That is too much of a production, and I know that I'm probably going to screw something up. So you know
That's
what?
right.
What you see is what you get.
That's right.
See,
I went to upload a video the other day and totally deleted it.
oh,
Just as my finger touched it, I knew, oh no, it was too late.
yeah.
So that's not to show. I should never be allowed near anything that has a scissors icon. That's not a good idea.
Well, see, Sherry says you need computer glasses, Helen. So you'll have to do a Google search for computer glasses. And
Google search, God, you're giving me the willies. Yeah, right.
yeah.
You're right.
So yeah, I thought that it might be fun to kind of take a little bit of a humorous look at some of the events that are happening that have got people in a little bit of a panic, a little bit of a tizzy. And my particular point of view is I find a lot of this comical. And it's because we understand the personalities that are involved. We understand how they are likely to act and react. And so it's we can kind of, with a good deal of certainty, predict what they're going to do next. Now, I'll give you an example. I do a video for my members every Sunday, and and it's called The Week Ahead. Oops, I'm here in background.
Oh, there's an airplane going overhead here.
Oh,
Is that it?
no, it was almost like voices. Oh, well, that's okay. It's gone now.
You're being haunted. Okay.
Woohoo, spirit. Okay, so yeah, so the cards that I pulled to let my members know the week ahead. I was thinking about one thing, but something else came up, and I said, "Oh my goodness, this, yeah, this is really not going to be a good week for Felon 47 because yeah, he's kind of poked the hornet's nest, and he is really he's out of his depth. So that this is not going to go the way that he thinks it's going to go. And the card said very clearly that, yeah, he's going to have to walk this back, and he's going to have to try to turn this into some kind of a win when there really isn't a win. But yeah, it's not going to work out for him. So I thought, okay, well, that'll be interesting. I thought this will happen throughout the week. Well, and I posted a video last night, and it's called Trump picks fight with Beaver, and the Beaver wins, because it was less than 24 hours after I had uploaded that video from my members that boom, he's 30-day pause on tariffs to Canada and tariffs to Mexico. And I thought, look at that. I'm psychic.
I feel like the women are standing up. Yeah. So we have the president of Mexico, yeah, who she's my new hero. She just doesn't give one, you know what.
Yeah.
And you can tell that he finds that very intimidating. Strong woman who stands up to him, big problem, right? Yes. And then I earlier saw Jasmine Crockett just go off. I love Crockett the Rocket is what I'm going to call her. I cannot. She is so funny, but she's always right. She's very accurate. Yeah, she was going off on Lauren Boebert and.
Oh.
Marjorie, General Marjorie, as I like to call her.
General.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Who-
this is we know, um, we know what they're up to. We know that his default is tariffs. We're going to make them pay, and everybody has he has a grievance against absolutely everyone, so that he can then say, "Oh well, yeah, we're going to tariff them. We're going to tariff them," as if excuse me, as if imposing a tariff is going to hurt the country on where he's applying this tariff.
He's dumb. He doesn't know how it works. If you hired someone to take all your tests to get your fancy business school degree, you'd know as little as he does, too. I love Trudeau's response. Fine, we're going to impose tariffs on all the red states.
Yeah, exactly.
I just loved it.
Exactly. Ontario's premier has canceled the contract with Starlink. Yep, bye. Not interested
I
anymore.
saw that. Excellent. Yeah.
And there was there was a lot of what's his name? Charlie Angus. He's a member of parliament, very, very outspoken, and very much like, yeah, okay, you want to pick a fight with Canada? Come on up. Come on.
How ludicrous does that even sound when you say it out loud? I'm like, what?
I know.
That's crazy.
I know. But it's just, it encourages, and his big thing today was, oh yes, absolutely. We brought Mexico and Canada to heel, to give in to our demands. And it's like, yeah, hey, got news for you. You just renegotiated everything that Biden and the two countries agreed to in December. Well done.
He just misrepresents it. You know the whole thing with Colombia the other day?
Yes.
Apparently, I don't remember the details now, but I heard a very persuasive argument that it was a similar situation. He negotiated what was already happening, but then he went on television and presented it as he cowed the president of Colombia, and president of Colombia was like, what? Oh, I think it had something to do with airplanes bringing deportees to Colombia.
Oh, yes.
And they were not letting them go to the toilet. They weren't giving them water. Why? What is the sadistic thing that's going on?
Yes, exactly. Keeping them in handcuffs and shackles and whatnot. And Colombia said, no, we're not allowing any of your planes to land here. How about this? We'll send planes up to pick up our people. How's that?
They sent their presidential plane. Just as kind of a dig, you know.
Of course. That
was great.
Things that get under his skin. And yeah, and we were talking about this backstage. What Joan Berga said. What about the announcement today that the U.S. will take over and develop beautiful oceanfront Gaza?
Can I say something about that, Marina? This is for the benefit of. I'm going to be, doing this as a recorded thing for my channel, and weeks and weeks and weeks ago, possibly months ago, I predicted that the goal long term in Gaza was to do a scorched earth, clear it, and sell the land. It was a real estate deal. They don't give a good goddamn what happens to the Palestinians. They're not human factors in their minds. And I predicted that was what was going to happen. I hate to talk myself down, but I don't think you need ESP to figure this out. Okay. I just think it was really obvious from the very beginning. And I think that certain other countries are in on it, not the least of which is Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. And I don't have evidence. That's just a gut feeling. This is exactly what's happened today. This is exactly what's happened. And I was told I was being paranoid and hysterical. So, okay.
All right, then.
What about you? Are you paranoid and hysterical too, Marie?
Well, sometimes, yeah, I can get there. I usually have my inner Karen is usually well behaved, but every once in a while she demands that she needs to come out. And when that happens, I just sit back and go, "Okay, girlfriend, you do you."
Well, Joan, thank you for that question because right before we started recording, my husband came up and told me I've been struggling with technology all afternoon, so
Yeah,
didn't know what the news was. And when he told me, it's like a blow to the gut. I
yeah.
just thought, oh, this is those people, those poor people. I cannot help but put myself in their shoes. How would I feel?
Well, yeah, any decent human being, that's what they would do. Just remember though, we did have a while back Jared Kushner who went over there and
Mhm.
he talked about the lovely oceanfront property. He did.
Beachfront property, make a nice resort. I was surprised that nobody really picked up on that. I don't mean you didn't. I mean,
Mhm.
mainstream media didn't really focus on that. To me, that was diagnostic of what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yes, absolutely. And now I did not listen to or see the announcement myself, although before I came on, my son told me about it. And it's one of those, oh my God, have you heard the latest kind of things? And I said, oh really? That's he's planning the US is going to take over Gaza now because they've taken over Greenland and Panama and Canada.
Marina, let me interrupt you, Marina. Marina, you hear me?
Yes.
You froze, and then both screens went black and the little spinny thing.
Oh, oh my gosh.
So we missed out on what you said. So your son came upstairs and told you, and
Yes. And he also mentioned that what um, while Trump was making this announcement, that the camera, whatever, focused in on Netanyahu, who looked very confused. Like, what are you talking about?
and my response to you when you told me about this before we recorded was, wait, do you mean Trump might have lied?
I know.
No.
I know. If I had pearls, I would clutch them right now.
Yeah. Well, did his mouth open at any point? Because if it did, he was
Yes,
lying.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So,
I can't imagine what it must take to shock somebody like Netanyahu. Because they're
uh,
neck and neck, for egregious. Yeah.
absolutely. Netanyahu is it. If he does not transition real soon, I think that he is going to find himself facing crimes against humanity in another country. So
Well,
that's
yeah, he's supposed to be actually facing charges in Israel. Do you remember the huge demonstrations in the streets in
yes,
Israel before they went into Gaza? This was a ploy. This was a money-making ploy to distract and keep him in the presidency. We've seen that trick before.
absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, Norm Gilbert says, yeah, why would anyone want to relocate to the middle of a religion turmoil? Yeah, would do I want to buy property in the Gaza Strip, knowing that um, what what Netanyahu has done is Hamas um, might have seen a decline in
Hmm.
their membership
Support. Yeah.
support, attacking the Palestinians, killing off families and leaving orphans. All you have done is created the new wave of
A
Hamas.
new generation, and they're twice as angry and twice as full of
Yes.
resentment. Norm, this is how I look at it. I have over the years had a lot of friends who were Jewish or Jewish adjacent, like culturally Jewish, not very religiously observant. But oftentimes, both when I was a teenager and then as an adult with my daughters, their friends, they would go to Israel. This is a very significant thing, full of meaning and way beyond religious connection, right? And when you see what happened in Germany, Europe in the 30s and 40s, you could understand, right? So I'm not not making excuses because this is egregious, but I could see a scenario where, let's pretend they build fancy beach resorts. I could see a scenario where people would flock to them because it's the ocean property there. It really is beautiful. Is it Haifa is on the water? Am I right about that? Or is it Tel Aviv? I forget. I think it's Haifa. Maybe it's Tel Aviv. Beautiful. I mean, I've never been there, but I've seen lots of, and I was struck by how gorgeous it was. Even before what happened a year ago, there was video of a family with a rooftop outdoor kind of a patio thing that they lived in because it's hot, fruit trees growing in pots. And I mean, it was beautiful. I could see a world, where people would overlook, hope that they wouldn't get caught up in it. People still go to Egypt, despite the fact that there have been some really horrendous things happening there, but they still go to look at the antiquity.
Yeah. And I think I cannot wait until Trump, Putin, Netanyahu. As soon as one of them transitions, the other two will be very quick to follow. That is that I've been getting.
This is your feeling?
Yeah, for a good long time. That they are here together for a reason, and I think that is to kind of show us where all the cracks are, kind of help people who are not spiritually connected or aren't spiritually aware to kind of get educated. And if it's a tough lesson, it's a tough lesson. Unfortunately, we have to go along for the ride, but it's they are here to allow people to identify with their base self.
Well, I struggle with this because I'm a big coward. I don't like change. I'm a Taurus, and death is really the ultimate change. But up here, I kind of have what I think is the narrative. It's accepting it is another thing entirely. So don't think I've got it all figured out, because I don't. But I do believe that no matter where we are, we could be in Ukraine, we could be in Gaza, we happen to be here, right? There's a purpose. We're not in Congress. We're not in Parliament. We don't have that kind of power. People feel helpless. They feel unable to do anything, and they feel despair. And I think it ultimately always comes back to a couple of considerations. We're not our bodies. We're eternal consciousness having an experience. This experience, in a lot of ways, it sucks, it's very difficult, but there's a purpose. We chose this or collaborated in choosing it because of something we need to learn.
Yes.
So we need to take a step back and ask ourselves every single day, what is it we're supposed to be learning? And if it only is that pain that you feel, compassion for the people who are suffering, there's a reason that you as an individual, that I need to feel that. And so we need to embrace the experience. I mean, not be glad about the horrible stuff, but understand that there's a growth opportunity
Yes.
for us.
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
very likely includes reaching out and helping other people. I mean, that's really.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think that we have been trying very, very hard to educate a lot of people on the reality of things going on versus the perception of reality, that there are
Oh,
two
Marina,
different things.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
So very much trying to encourage them. And I've come to the realization that some people want to remain willfully ignorant. They have chosen that no, 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 no. I see nothing. I hear nothing.
Yeah.
This is my vision. So for those people, until they are ready to look at things from a different perspective, there's nothing I can do. I simply walk away and say, hey, you know what? I release you in light and love. You go ahead. You do you.
That's our challenge, because really
Yeah.
that's what we can do, is learn detachment and acceptance
Yeah.
and non-judgment. Says I, the most judgy person in the whole world, let me tell you what. But in theory, we're supposed to accept that we're not on the same timeline, we're not on the same path. I
No.
have a neighbor who's huge MAGA. You could tell by his favorite sport, which is those cars that go around in circles and bang into each other.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
really into that. Yeah. Okay. So he's got a big, gigantic truck. The wheels are bigger than I am tall. Okay.
Yes.
And he's got a bumper sticker on the window of his truck, and it's been there since 2020. It says Trump 2020, F your feelings, but the word is spelled out.
Yes.
And for a couple of years, every time I walked by that truck, I could feel my blood pressure. I could just, and I would have dialogues in my head about how I dealt with him and told him where to go. And it has been such an education to try to come to a place where when I see that, I feel sorry that there are people who are that angry and horrible, and try to come up with a response in my inner dialogue
Yep.
that embraces him as a human being.
Yep.
I'm not telling you that I'm successful.
No, no, no. And believe me, I absolutely get it. It's I think I kind of view my job going forward is to be encouraging, to be positive, to be the light on the hill for those that want to hear the message. If you want to hear the message, come on in. I will gladly share it with you. Am I going to preach the message to you? No. No. I cannot educate someone who refuses to be educated. So why do I want to then put myself in a position where I am reacting with any kind of emotion when the other person doesn't get it? They just don't get it. So,
Yeah,
I
no, I
can't
hear you.
with a toddler and just say, "Oh, sweetheart, okay, better luck next
I've had a huge struggle. It was a huge struggle. The way that my channel evolved when I first started out, I was driving my family crazy because I was preachifying day and night. Listen to this. Look at that. Have you read this? Do you know that? And they're like, oh, please, we can't hear anymore. And somehow or other, I couldn't tell you how I ended up doing this. It's bizarre. It's very
Yep.
unpredictable. But anyway, at the beginning, I felt like, okay, I'm just going to explain all this because I know what I've read and heard and listened to, and people are going to hear this, and it's going to change everything, and that's not what happens, because people are on their own timeline.
Mhm.
And so when it all came to its ugly endpoint in November, I really had to reevaluate it. I have spent a lot of time and effort, and I was getting a lot of negative pushback about being oh, you're negative, and oh, it's not me. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm telling you what is out there, what I see, and nobody wants to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Well,
But you're like me. I'm not capable of pretending it's not happening,
yes.
right?
Yeah. Well, I can acknowledge it, and it's listen. If you there are some people out there who are going to have to go through, as my dad would say in his broken English, hell of a heavy trouble in order to understand certain things. So there are those people who absolutely um, support Felon 47 in everything that he does because they have drank the Kool-Aid, they have bought into it. They are not going to start thinking that maybe there might be something wrong until it affects them personally. When all of a sudden, where's my social security check? What do you mean it's not there? What do you mean?
Yeah.
You know, um,
Yeah.
it when it happens to them and they feel it, then they will start to ask questions and maybe listen. But until that happens, no amount of preaching, hand holding, talking, any of that from us is going to do any good because yes,
And I don't
they
think that's our
want
job.
listening.
That's not our job, and that's hard to come to that acceptance that it's not our job. Uh, the dread of this evolving the way it is has been with me since I was a child. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
And for decades and decades, I've been telling people, those guys in Germany, they're coming back. It's coming back. And, 20, 30 years ago, people thought, oh, please, please, right? You're ridiculous. Well,
Yeah.
I had to reevaluate on my channel how much good do I serve by continuing to preachify when all it's doing is depressing people and scaring them. So I created a Substack, and I created public and private on both Substack and YouTube. Not for the money part.
Yes.
That's
I get it.
say I'm no Elon Musk, right? But I just felt like, as you know, I'm an immigrant. I'm a naturalized citizen. I don't feel good about what's going to be happening with that. Yes, I strongly feel they're going to revoke it. And so I didn't want to make myself as noticeable anymore, because to what good? It wasn't helping anybody. So now I do a few things behind the scenes. I do a few things in front of the scenes. One of them is a little more entertaining. The other one is a little more informative. Take your pick. It's like a smorgasbord of Irish Granny.
Exactly.
And
pick your flavor.
But my goal now is to lighten people's mood on my YouTube channel. The public part, we're talking more fun stuff, more intellectually interesting, true crime. Try to get good guests. I've been trying. If anybody knows, okay, I'm putting out a call. If anybody knows how to get a hold of Paul Wallace, do you know who that is?
No.
I bet you do, and you don't know you do. He is a preacher, theologian for 30 plus years, of, I believe, a deacon or a bishop in the Anglican Church.
Okay.
He lives in Australia, and his area of expertise is linguistics. He knows all the old scriptures from every ancient civilization, and he has a theory that we are a manufactured species from who, and we're not talking God, right?
Yeah, no.
And he's a preacher, right? So he's got a television show. I think it's on Gaia, which I can't afford. However, that's often parts of it on YouTube. It's called The Fifth Kind, like the number 5, the fifth kind. Such an interesting man. So I've been covering his books, and I really want to talk to him. So if anybody knows how to get a hold of him, I've gone on his website. I've put in my information. I feel like I dropped it into Oh, I've had Dr. Lena on my channel before, a couple times, a
Then
while ago.
reach out to her and ask
She's
her
one.
if she knows how to get
Oh,
into.
if she knows him.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that never dawned on me. Duh. Thank you, Rose.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Rose Blue. Because very, very often, as I found out, what happens to a lot of the email is if you have not communicated with that person in the past, um, your email might go into their spam folder or their
Yeah,
junk folder, right? And it
yeah,
will sit there until they decide to do something with it. Someone else might come along and say, "Yeah, I'm going through your junk folder. I've deleted everything because
yeah.
there's nothing there." So they may not ever even have seen it. If it does make it into their inbox, I think that what I have found helpful is to start it off by saying, hello, so and so. I got your contact information from blah blah blah, because they're
Mm.
and even maybe CC that person on the email that you sent out, because then they it means something. They can say, oh, okay, well, if so and so talked to you, okay, then I'm going to read further, right? That's just little marketing
It's
thing.
surprising. Well, with the title of a channel, Irish Granny, I think people have preconceived notions, right? But it's astounding to me the people you would not predict who are very open minded and willing to embrace whatever, and the people who are just, oh. And it's completely unpredictable.
Yes.
Some really important is a bad word, connected to a lot of tentacles out there in the world of politics are real open minded and real willing to talk. And then people who are here, who do they think they are?
I know.
It's
I
weird.
know. You never know until you throw it out there. So yeah, I don't.
Luckily, I have no shame. I'll ask anybody, right?
And well, you kind of have to. You reach out to different people, and most people, if they can, will respond. Some just never see it. And I have had other readers who, when I've said I'm trying to get in touch with so and so and I'm not
Yeah.
getting anything, it's like, okay, um, you know, let them know you've spoken to me.
Mm-hmm.
Include me
Mm-hmm.
in the email, and boom, all of a sudden you get an answer. And I could understand that, right? When I first started, oh my gosh, if I got one or two emails, it was an exciting day. It was a big day. Now, as they're coming in fast and furious, I may not get back to them as quickly as I used to. And
Yeah.
that's not because the desire isn't there. It's because the volume has increased to the
Well,
point
and
that,
you need to be cautious. I'll tell you a funny story about my friend Nate.
mm-hmm,
So, you know who he is, right?
yeah,
He got in touch with me through email and asked me, I've made these cards and I'd like to send you some cards to use on your channel. What's your address? So my children had wised me up. So I
yeah,
told him, look, I don't know who you are.
yes,
I'm not sending you my address. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll go on, it was Etsy, I think. I'll go on Etsy. I'll look at them. If I like them, sort of, I'll get a deck of cards. And then if I really like them, then I'll feel like maybe you're legitimate. And
yeah.
and look what happened. We're very good friends, and he's not crazy, at least not dangerously crazy. But you just never know. You have to be careful.
Yes.
I'm sure you're aware.
I can't tell you how many emails I get in the run of a day where someone has a great business idea that they want to share with me. They just need a little bit of an investment up front. And it's like,
No.
yeah, delete, delete, delete.
People
Um,
know better than to ask me for money. I mean, look at this place.
It's like, no,
They know
I'm
better.
not interested in that. Or, we've worked with other channels, and we could increase your monthly income from where it is now to
Yeah, I get a lot of those.
$50,000
I'm
a month.
offended when they say, I have looked at your channel and I see areas that need improvement. Who do you think you are?
Exactly.
Get out of here. Yeah, it's
Yes,
so
it
funny.
is.
You have to give people credit for they're trying to establish a business. I think most of them are fairly legitimate. Yeah, they're trying to start, I don't know what that would be called, but they're trying to help people with their channels, improve them, and I can understand that. So, but just don't even bother because I'm a lost cause. It's not going to
I
happen.
I have spent years in sales. Believe me, there are ways to approach people with something that you are trying to do for them, and then there are ways to approach them where you just want to make a quick buck. Most people out there can tell the difference. Most people intuitively know when they're being given or when they're sharing information versus when someone is trying to sell them something. And anytime you approach someone with the mindset that, have I got a deal for you? Let me tell you what I'm going to do for you. If you can bring that kind of success to me, why are you not doing that for your own company? Why is your own company, you know, barely noticeable? And
Well, I always,
shouldn't you be able
did you
to?
ever see the movie? I sorry, ever see the movie, Glenn Ross?
Mhm.
I always think of that movie. I feel sorry for people. They're just trying to pay their bills, and they get these brutal superiors at work who give them quotas and browbeat them. And I think that's a real thing. And they're just
It is.
trying their best, and I feel sorry for them. But you're barking up the wrong tree if you think you're going to help me with the look of my channel. That's hilarious. I'm so impressed with your thing going back and forth here. How did you make that work?
Oh, that is in YouTube. It's under the banner section. And so when you click on the banners, you can add a banner, type in what you want, and then you can
Oh,
decide, do you want it just to be, the
mm-hmm,
static on the
mm-hmm.
screen? Or do you want it to scroll? So
Well, when I set up my channel, you know how there's supposed to be some sort of picture or banner or something. I didn't even know what they were talking about, but they said, transfer a picture. And I'm like, oh my God, I have no idea. So I'm looking around the room and I got a tea towel here with the map of Ireland. And I just took a picture and stuck that in there because that was the only thing I could think of to do.
yes,
I kind of like how it turned out, but it was entirely accidental.
yes, those are sometimes the best. Absolutely the
The
best.
best, yeah, yeah. It took me 3 years to figure out that those little tiny pictures are called icons. I thought an icon was a religious object from the Eastern Orthodox Church. I didn't.
Yes,
I'm an idiot. It's so funny.
I still I'm still learning things, and I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything. And I'm smart enough to know that when I need help, I need help and I can ask for help. But I am one of those people that I do not learn by someone giving me a set of instructions. Oh, well, it's really easy if you just do this and that. No, 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 no. I need to see it. You
You
need
have to
to
do it
show.
step by step, right?
Yes. Yeah. You need to show me. Once once I see how it's done, I can take it from there. I can then say, "Oh, okay. Well, if I want to do this, if I try this and this and this, I should get that outcome." But initially, so yeah, I had a really, really difficult time when I was in school. Anything that had to do with written instructions.
It's kind of a kinesthetic learner. I have a daughter like that. She's a dancer. So, of course, she'd do her schoolwork jumping around the room, and it used to make me crazy
Yeah.
because to me, That's not paying attention, right? But now
Yes.
I know a little better. Yes, he has a YouTube channel. I know. I love Paul Wallace. So, uh, when it comes to this sort of stuff, you have to show me step by step, and I have to do it wrong. And then I have to get it written down step by step. I have those little clear envelopes. I put it inside and I carry it around with me until I have it memorized, and then I can do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Everybody
Jean,
learns.
I know what you're saying. Well, you know what they say. It's all in cycles.
Yes.
And it's about an 85-year cycle, give or take. So go back 85 years and what was happening then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Weimar Republic, World War II, right? Go back 83 years from that, the Civil War. It just repeats until we get it right.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And that's it. That is it. Until we realize that there is no us in them, until we realize that we are all part of the the one family, that we our duty to each other is to care for each other and look after each other. Our
Yeah,
duty is to take care of the one who needs our help the most when they need it, and to do that without judgment, without reservation. Just you just
that's
do it.
hard. That sounds simple. That's very hard to do. And
Yeah,
this is the opportunity to learn that.
absolutely, absolutely. And there we have collectively as human beings, we have done that on more than one occasion. So we know how to do it. It's just
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, we forget or we allow someone else to tell us that, whatever we might be going through is it's someone else's fault. It's not your fault. You're not the lazy SOB who can't get up at a decent hour in the morning to, go to a job and put in 8 hours. That's not your fault. That is so and so's fault because they took your job.
Yeah. And you depersonalize other people. It's always
Of
those
course,
people.
those, yeah, those
Yeah. Yeah.
people. Yeah.
But, and
And
even people like, the Orange Genius,
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
provide something, they have their own free will choices.
Yes.
And they may or may not be screwing them up. I'm just saying, no judgment.
Yeah.
But in the process of doing that and how it affects the larger world, that's a lesson for us. It's a contrast in how not to be, how not
Yeah.
to treat people. You don't make fun of the reporter who's disabled. You
No.
don't, you don't tell the reporter who's a woman with an accent, I can't understand you. So gross.
No. Or the fact that she's female. Oh, she's a nasty woman. She's a
Nasty
nasty,
woman, I know. That, Marina,
woman.
that's the best kind.
Yes, I know. I'm one of those nasty women. Oh,
Me
darn, darn,
too.
right?
And just to disturb him a little more, I have 5 daughters and they're all nasty too.
That's right. We're going to have a nasty
Uh,
woman convention.
it's a genetic web of nasty.
Yeah. And just remember that that how do I put this? I know what I mean in my head and in my heart, and sometimes it's hard to translate it into
Yes.
into words. Um,
Yeah.
this is this to me is like watching a movie that I've seen before, so I have an idea of what happens next, and that helps with some of that excitement about I know what's happening next. But because I know what's happening next, it also allows me the opportunity to not focus on what happens next, but to maybe focus on some of the things that I missed in the movie the first time I saw it. Right? Oh, I never realized that um, the pattern that was on the curtains is the same pattern that was on the couch. Oh my gosh. You know, those things. So I see it as, yeah, I'm watching a movie. I can choose to be an observer of that movie, and I don't have to be emotionally invested in the outcome of that movie.
Well, it's learning to not be, letting go of ego.
Yeah,
That's very difficult.
yes,
That's, can I recommend a book?
of course.
I think this might be the most significant book of our time. And it was written in the 50s, I think. I don't want to say it wrong. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. And it's a little small book, not a lot of pages,
Yeah.
by a guy called Viktor Frankl. All K's, Viktor Frankl. He was a psychiatrist, psychologist, counselor, therapist, in the mental health field before World War II broke out. And long story short, he ended up in a concentration camp and he survived. And the book is about how he survived. And it's not about where he got food and how, it's not about physical survival. It's about the survival of his soul and the survival of his mental health, and how no matter what life puts in front of you, there is a way to get through it with your integrity and your decency. Not necessarily easy, but it's a fabulous book. And it's not light reading. It's not easy reading, but I think it's so significant.
Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. I'm going to keep an eye out for it. And Innocent Potato, says, Mitakyue Oyasin, if I'm saying that correctly. And it's a Lakota saying, we are all related.
Oh.
Yes, we are. Absolutely, we are. And especially when you consider, if you believe in reincarnation, how could we not be related? How could we not have interacted with each other at some point in the past or some point in the future, depending what timeline we're in? So, yeah, sometimes some folks.
Well, the belief is, that the people that you encounter in your life for a second or for your entire life, all of those people, the guy on the bus, that you don't even talk to, that those are familiar in your extended soul family. There's your real, your core group of souls that you travel around like a pack. But people come and go, and they all play a part. And I apologize to everybody who I'm related to, because we're all related. I apologize.
Oh, I'm not. I'm not. You picked me. I get it.
I'm going to be disowned from the family, I think.
Me talk A-I-O-C. Me talk. Thank you, Spiritual X. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, listen, we're coming up to the top of the hour, and I had to run out and grab supper before we started the show. It is desperately cold here.
Oh, tell me about it.
And we've got snow. Flights have been diverted and delayed. Some of the roads in and around town have been closed.
Are you willing to go out and drive in that?
I am in my own little neck of the woods. If I have to drive across town, no, we'll do that another time. But I'm lucky enough that I only live literally 5 minutes away from a major shopping center that has everything. Everything. Grocery stores, shopping stores, convenience stores, everything is there. So I was telling my son the last 3 days, I have been craving a piece of cake. Doesn't matter what kind of cake. but I'm
Really?
craving a piece of cake, a cake that I can cut a slice. I thought it was going to go away. It didn't. So I finished a show with Bobby Fierro earlier, and I puttered around here, did a few things, and I thought, well, I really should go out and get that because I did have to make a stop somewhere to return it.
Well, it was just the right thing to do, Marina.
Yes,
It
and
really
well,
was the right thing.
yeah. So you have to give in to those cravings because they don't go away. So anyway, I was doing my running around, and because the roads are so bad, traffic is
Ugh.
backed up. You don't want to do anywhere near the speed limit, you're because I'm being conscious of what I'm doing on the road, what everybody else around me is doing
You
on
have
the
to
road.
watch out for all the idiots, right?
Yes, you
And that I mean,
do.
no judgment, but they're going the normal speed limit on black ice. They're
Yes,
insane.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
no,
I know.
no. So by the time that I got home after doing what it was that I needed to do and came home with supper. I had like about 10 minutes to just wolf it all down.
Is
And I
that
did.
cake calling your name?
That cake is calling my name.
What kind of cake? That's really the crucial question. Chocolate?
The cheesecake.
Oh God, I love cheese. What kind of cheesecake?
Cheesecake. Um, there's different slices. So there's some of them
Oh,
like
I know what you got. You got one of those round things that's all different. Oh my God. All you do is take that plastic top off and find yourself a fork.
exactly. That's right. And sit down with it in front of the TV and look at my son and go, "Don't judge me. You don't know what I've been through."
I make really good cheesecake. I mean, I my only thing that I make really well is cheesecake. But I'm off sugar. It's a sad story. One of my daughters is a great baker, and
Oh,
she invented a cheesecake that has no flour and no sugar. And it's really good. So she comes about twice a year. She'll bake a big one and she'll bring it to me. And
oh,
I've got, that reminds me, I have some in the freezer. I cut it up and I freeze it in sections. How's that for self-control?
yes. Yeah. You're doing
It's
better than me.
sweetened with dates and
Oh,
not too many of those. It's mostly just about the fat and then it's chocolate because,
that's what? Yeah. Yeah.
unsweetened chocolate, but you get desperate. So it's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. And rose blue, I love the Italian cake that's made with ricotta. Oh, oh,
Oh, yeah.
oh.
I see a pattern here. Dairy and sugar. I see this repeating pattern.
Absolutely. So yeah, the reason that I started to say that story, as I said, yeah, we're getting to the top of the hour, is that
You have to go.
because I woofed that meal down like it was going to be my last meal. It sat with me okay for a while, and now it's like my stomach is saying, "What the hell did you do?"
Oh, well, we don't want the details. Please go. Seriously.
No, no, no,
Thank
no.
you.
Well,
I have to go record anyway. Thank you so much for having me. I have no idea what it is I yammered on about, but okay.
no, it's
I
fun.
had
It was
fun. I laughed.
good, and it was a great show. And thank you guys for spending part of your evening with us. Don't forget to like and
Yes.
subscribe. Make sure that you go over to Helen's channel, do the same thing on there. And yes, Don Turner, we have, and it's not too far from me, it's an Italian grocery store, and they have got the most amazing desserts.
Oh,
Italian, yeah, yeah.
do they sell the real original Italian ladyfingers that you put in tiramisu? I make a pretty good tiramisu too,
I know.
if I do say so myself. Now you've got me. I'm oh my God. I'm gonna obsess now for the rest of the night. Thanks, Marina. Thanks.
My pleasure. I
It's a
enjoy
disorder. Well,
it.
listen, thank you for still talking to us down here south of the border, the crazy town. Thank you.
Not going to stop that. And thank
Mea
you
culpa.
again, yeah, for everyone for joining us. We'll see you later, and I will see you guys tomorrow on Sisters of the Mystical Tarot. Will be on Allie Heart and Soul Connected channel.
Oh, talk about nasty women.
Yeah,
Tell them I said that.
absolutely. Take care, all. See you later.
Thank
Bye
you
for
so
now.
much, everybody.